If you still believe that women date for love, that being nice gets you respect, or that attraction is just about luck, you've been lied to, and that's exactly why you keep losing. Most men will never accept the three harsh truths about women, and because of that, they'll spend their whole lives chasing, simping, and getting their hearts broken. Meanwhile, the men who understand these truths, they get women effortlessly, they never get played, and they always have control. But here's the real problem. You've been programmed to believe in a fantasy. Society, movies, even your own family have taught you that women are just looking for a good guy, that if you treat her right, she'll love you forever. But tell me this, why do women leave good men for toxic ones? Why do they ignore the guys who worship them and chase the ones who don't care? Why does the nice guy finish last every single time? It's because attraction isn't based on fairness, logic, or kindness. It's based on power, status, and biological instinct. And if you don't understand this, you'll always be at a disadvantage. You'll keep texting her first, over-investing, waiting for love that never comes, while she's busy chasing a guy who mastered these three brutal truths. So if you're ready to wake up, to finally see the game for what it is, then listen carefully, because once you understand these truths, you'll never see women the same way again. She was everything to you, but to her, you were just another option. You stayed up late thinking about her. Every text she sent, every moment you shared, it all felt special. You imagined a future together. But while you were planning forever, she was busy exploring her other options. And the worst part? She never even had to say it. You could feel it, the way she took longer to reply, the way her good morning text stopped, the way she was always busy, but somehow never too busy for him. You tried to be the perfect guy. You gave her attention, respect, loyalty. You thought if you proved yourself, she'd choose you, but in the end, all that did was push her further away. Because here's the truth no one tells you, women don't fall for the man who's always there. They fall for the man they're afraid of losing. And if you don't understand this, you'll keep losing again and again. Number one, women don't date potential. They date results. I remember the exact moment I realized this truth. I was 18, broke, and deeply in love with this girl. She used to tell me, "You're so different. I feel safe with you." And like a fool, I believed it meant something. I would text her every morning, listen to all her problems, and tell her she deserved a guy who truly cared. One day, she told me about this guy she had met, a guy who barely replied to her, who didn't treat her right, but somehow she couldn't stop thinking about him. She asked me, "Why do I like him so much?" I laughed it off, pretending it didn't bother me. But that night, it hit me like a truck. I was the one who was always there. I was the one who cared the most. And yet, I was the one getting ignored. That was the day I realized a brutal truth. Women don't date potential. They date results. They don't care who you could become someday. They care about who you are right now. If you're still broke, still unconfident, still figuring life out, she's not waiting for you to make it. She's already texting a guy who has. You see, men are sold this lie that if you just work hard, stay loyal, and have a good heart, women will stick by your side. But let's be honest, how many times have you seen a woman leave a guy when he started struggling? How many times have you seen a girl say she loves a guy for who he is, only to replace him with someone more successful? It's because attraction isn't about fairness, it's about value. Women are biologically wired to seek out the highest value option. Not in a malicious way, not because they're evil, just like you're wired to feel attraction to a young, feminine woman, they're wired to feel attraction to a powerful, successful man. This is why the potential excuse is the biggest scam men fall for. You tell yourself, I'll focus on women once I get my career sorted, but guess what? By the time you get there, the same women you wanted will have already chosen the guys who had it figured out earlier. Women don't wait. They choose the best option right now. The biggest mistake men make is thinking women will support them through the grind. The reality, a woman won't be there during your struggle. She'll show up when you've already won. And that's not a bad thing. That's just the way the world works. Here's proof. Think of every self-made millionaire or athlete. Once they made it, suddenly the same women who ignored them in the past were all over them. That's not luck. That's the result of value creation. So the next time you hear a woman say, "I love ambitious men," understand what she really means. She loves men who already have results, not men who just talk about one day. So ask yourself this, right now, if you lost everything, your money, your confidence, your status, would she still choose you? Or would she find someone better? If that question makes you uncomfortable, good. It means it's time to stop focusing on potential and start becoming the guy women actually want. Number 2, women love men who make them feel something, not men who make sense. Back when I was younger, I used to believe that if I just treated a woman well, she'd eventually fall for me. I thought attraction was about being logical. If I showed her I was the best option, she'd obviously pick me, right? So I did everything right. I listened to her problems, I was always available, I gave her compliments, but no matter what I did, she would always end up chasing the guys who barely cared. One day I asked her, "Why do you always go for guys who hurt you?" And you know what she said? "I don't know. I just feel something when I'm around them." That was the day I realized attraction isn't about logic, it's about emotions. Women don't choose the guy who makes the most sense. They choose the guy who makes them feel, and if you don't know how to create that emotional roller coaster, you'll always lose to the guy who does. A woman can meet a guy who is perfect on paper, good job, loyal, stable, but if he doesn't excite her, if he doesn't trigger that emotional high, she won't feel attraction. Meanwhile, a guy who is unpredictable, playful, and knows how to push and pull emotionally, he becomes addicting to her. This is why women say they love toxic men. It's not because they actually want to be mistreated. It's because those men trigger intense emotions, drama, excitement, passion. Meanwhile, the nice guy just gives her comfort and security, which is great after attraction is built, but never before. If you don't know how to make her feel an emotional high, you're just a good friend. The mistake most guys make, they think making her feel safe is enough. They play it too predictable, too agreeable, never teasing, never challenging. And then they wonder why she says, "You're such a great guy, but I don't feel a spark." You want to win? Learn how to push and pull. Give her excitement, mystery, a little unpredictability. Make her wonder where she stands with you sometimes. Because once you make a woman feel something real, she won't be able to stop thinking about you. So ask yourself, are you making her feel safe? Or are you making her feel something real? Because in the end, logic doesn't get love, emotion does. Number 3, women want a man who other women want. I used to believe that women wanted a guy who was completely devoted to them, that if I made it obvious I was all about her, she'd appreciate it. But the more I showed my loyalty, the less interested she became. Then something happened. I started focusing on myself, hitting the gym, dressing better, working on my goals, and suddenly, other women started noticing me. The crazy part? The girl who once ignored me was now acting jealous, trying to get my attention again. That's when I learned this truth. Women don't just want a good man, they want a man that other women want. It's called social proof. A man's value isn't determined by his words, it's determined by how other women see him. And once you understand this, attraction becomes effortless. You ever notice how a guy who's in a relationship suddenly gets more attention from women? It's not a coincidence. Women are wired to be attracted to men who have already been pre-selected by other women. Why? Because it signals high value. If other women want him, he must be desirable. He must have qualities worth chasing. This is why women naturally gravitate toward men who have options, men who are confident, men who aren't desperate for female validation. Meanwhile, if a guy has no women around him, no attention, no interest, women subconsciously see him as low value. That's just how attraction works. Most guys make the mistake of thinking they need to convince a woman to like them. They chase, they over-pursue, they act too available, and in doing so, they kill their own value. The men who win, they don't chase, they attract. They build a life so desirable that women naturally want to be part of it. And once you have options, women will fight for your attention because they can sense that you're in demand. So let me ask you, are you a man that women naturally want? Or are you still trying to convince one girl to see your value? Because the moment you stop chasing is the moment they start noticing.